That was professionally done, wasn't it? Hello viewer. As you probably know, if anybody's watched my videos recently, I've tried to keep away from all things Evansy after the whole Prosygate affairs, purely because we've got just down the road of speculation really, and I think I said I'd just leave it there. However, for those of you, I haven't bothered looking on this particular thread for a wee while, and the plot is as thick and quicker than Little Lloyd in Thailand. I'm sure I said that before. Sorry for repeating that pun. Oh dear, roll the first pun. So I was just spent maybe about 15 minutes last night just catching up on things, and there's a lot to catch up on. So first and foremost, I mentioned a while ago that there was this film that Evans has been making, or should I just call him our Lloyd and Silvio, that Evans has been, or Little Lloyd, I've been making called The Truth About the Truth. And we saw him on this sort of doing this road trip with this guy called Javier Ortiz, sort of doing a road trip in America. Like a jolly boy's day out, as they were going to then go interview survivors of child sex abuse within the witnesses and obviously their parents. And it was taking ages to bring this video out, and I wonder what had actually come of it. And then all of a sudden, I think Lloyd mentioned it. It was still in the editorial stages, and I just thought, well, what's going to happen now? Especially that I think one person had put on the video that although they'd written a disclaimer, they actually wanted their portion of her and her daughter taken out of the video because of because of Prosygate. However, what's now happened is that a statement has been released dated February the 24th. So I'm a bit behind in this one. Like I said, I'm not bothered for a wee while. But this is from Javier Ortiz, and who's put himself down as the producer, and somebody else. And it goes this way. Dear collaborators and supporters of The Truth About the Truth project, I write to inform you that I've asked Lloyd Evans to resign from his role as producer and writer on the TTATT film documentary project. Mr. Evans' personal story will no longer be featured in the final cut of the material. Wow, what? I'm not surprised on that one. And now to Lloyd's personal story. Yes, and there we go. Mr. Evans has now this is the saddest bit about this, and this completely sums up Lloyd Evans. Mr. Evans has declined to resign voluntarily, and I'm anticipating there will be some legal actions against me and the rest of the producing team. So basically, if he'd done the decent thing, he would have known, that the best thing for this project and the best thing for the survivors he's interviewed is actually take himself out of all the production duties and anything. And just do that, because it shouldn't be about him. But because he wants it to ought to be about him, he hasn't done that. So Javier goes on to say, I arrived at this decision based solely on the admissions Mr. Evans made in his January live stream. At this time I feel they cause a conflict of interest, correct, given the very sensitive subjects we address in the film. Absolutely. Like I mentioned previously, it has been extremely important to me that our interview subjects felt dignified and respected in sharing their stories. I never wanted them to feel sensationalised or exploited in the process. They've shared their concerns. Obviously, they've then gone back to this guy, Harry, says they've shared their concerns and I've taken these actions to reserve their trust and respect. Since Mr. Evans' live stream, there have been questions about the project's finances. I'd like to reassure everyone that as a non-profit and totally separate entity from any of Mr. Evans' business dealings or accounts, he's never had direct access to these funds. Well, that's a good thing, at least. All these funds raised during the project's crowdsourcing drive has been used for the film production, and all remaining funds are being used in the post-production process, i.e. editing, colour correction, sound mixing, scoring, graphics, storage, etc., which is currently underway. In other words, none of the funds are being used for Little Lloyd to get serviced by prostitutes. March 2022 will mark 5 years since the first interviews for this project were filmed in Tucson, Arizona. Many of you have been looking forward to the final product. Some have shared their frustration with how long it has taken. Yeah, 5 years. To that I'd like to say we are not backed by a big studio, production company or television networks. We are regular people with 9 to 5 jobs to support our families, just like everyone else. We do this work in our free time and largely at our own expense. We're a small group of collaborators, mostly former Jehovah's Witnesses, who saw the intrinsic value in sharing these very personal stories with the world. My hopes are to inform the public of the truths that the Watchtower organisation would prefer to keep secret and bring everyone's critical eye to this harmful religion. There will certainly be more decisions made soon, and I will share these with you as they are made. Thank you in advance for your patience. So there you go. I was wondering what was going to happen with this film, and even, you know, this guy Javier Ortiz, and there you go. Is eventually he's realised that, you know, to get Lloyd Evans, you know, still involved in this project is just suicidal for the project. I'm just wondering, because I would have thought that you would hear Lloyd's voice interviewing these people, so are they going to overdub his questions? I certainly hope they do, because I'd hate to think that, you know, we're going to hear Lloyd actually asking, you know, well, questions to these survivors, and it's Lloyd Evans' voice that, you know, all of a sudden at that point you just go, well, I'm not listening to this crap. So, needless to say, when that came out, the bold Lloyd on Twitter, because he still has his functional Twitter account, then goes to say, "Not gonna lie, this hurts. Have you used my platform to promote the project and secure funding? The filming is mostly done and I was the main interviewer." Oh, yes, you were the main interviewer, twat. I put years into it. And just put a little bit into other things. I put years into it. What he's doing is little more than a token gesture to throw some meat to the mob. Total capitulation. It's bizarre. It's all about Lloyd. It's all about Lloyd Evans. Yet again, it's sad. He should have done the decent thing, but like Boris Johnson and other arseholes who just when there's, you know, there's so many things going on, it's all about them, and they're rather more concerned about their own future and income, as in the case of Lloyd Evans, than, you know, the actual well-being of the people that he was supposed to represent. Now, during, obviously, that happened. That's factual. Those are factual things, so I can definitely say that. But now go on to the unfactual things. What came up, which also Lloyd also tweeted and said this is complete bollocks. But anyway, on this Jehovah's Witness forum site, allegedly came up a bit of, I think it's a WhatsApp message between Lloyd's wife and somebody else. Apparently this is around about January time this year, and apparently it was during the time of line of events. Apparently Lloyd may have been over in Thailand at the time, or just about to go. I don't know, I'm confused the whole timeline. But anyway, somebody has done a translation in English, because I can't read the Croatian words here, but it says, this is his wife speaking. He says, "I must remain silent or we will be destroyed. I'm afraid for my children. He takes pills and threatens me." The response by this other person is, "Please let me help you. Come with the girls to my house." So obviously this is somebody in nearby where they live. His wife apparently then goes back to say, "He will take my phone. Nasty person." The friend replies, "Let us help you." His wife allegedly replies, "It's too late." The friend replies, "Please tell me we'll think. Please tell me you will think. Please tell me you will think." That makes better sense, doesn't it? And of course, Lloyd's actually tweeted this sort of screenshot and saying it's all lies, it's all lies. So, you know, God's sake. So you don't know who to believe here. And then it's come down to this bizarre thing where Lloyd's wife has set up a Twitter account, and a new Twitter account. How many she got on the go here? And to verify it's actually her Twitter account, she apparently contacted Kim Silvio and had a conversation. I don't know if it's on Messenger or whatever, and said, Kim, can you tweet that my new Twitter account is really me and not one that's made up by somebody pretending to be me? And so then Kim, I believe, then had to then, she's like stuck in, in a, what a place that she's in place. She's definitely stuck in a rock and Lloyd hard place. And so she then had to, I believe, then tweet just to state that this Twitter account is really the Twitter account of Lloyd's wife. And then eventually she got so fed up of being in the crossfire between these two, not knowing who was playing who, and felt that she was getting played. I think the last thing that she was saying that she was getting out of it, and she put like a last tweet from Kim Silvio was a plane taking off, basically saying, I'm out of here, because I think she's just fed up of being used and don't know who's using who. So there we have it. It's really, really confusing. And so we have obviously this sort of conversation which may or may not be true. Lloyd saying it isn't. We've got Lloyd's wife then setting up a Twitter account and want verification from somebody. Bizarre, she's contacting the person who Evans and the Lloyd's cult followers have called the Antichrist, really, or the anti-Lloyd, I should say, not Antichrist, the anti-Lloyd. And yet, bizarrely, she's reaching out to her to say, can you just tweet that is this my account, that this really is my Twitter account? It's just bizarre. And I couldn't hold back a wee bit, because Lloyd did tweet a picture of Vladimir Putin and a long table. He's at one end because he's absolutely feared of getting COVID. He's at one end of this table. The other end is all his financial advisors, all his advisors. And it's funny when you actually see the footage, it's as though they're right next to each other, but actually if you actually see the photo, they're miles away from each other. And just to the left of Putin's like some buttons, and the bold Lloyd has put, I wonder what those buttons are for. And so I tweeted under that there to alert I think it was to alert the Thai authorities that little Lloyd's in town. Anyway, I'm surprised I haven't been banned from commenting on Lloyd's Twitter account, because I did at one point do aloud when I was particularly annoyed with him recently, but I haven't done for a while. And then the thing about Lloyd's wife, she's saying, please don't believe all the things that are coming out she's tweeting. But the end of the day is it really Lloyd's wife is actually typing these things, or is she is she like given a bit of paper by little Lloyd and told, this is what I want you to put? You do not know what's going on, or who's playing who at this point, what the end game is, what's really going on. And it's got very confusing to some points, that this elusive Marco character, apparently somebody had put in, which is why I put that little image I put up for this video. They've actually put on that perhaps all this leaking of information is actually really Lloyd's wife. That maybe Lloyd's wife is actually doing this, and that she's up to something, or maybe Lloyd's doing this. I don't know. It's confusing. I don't really know what to believe anymore. All I know is that apparently today we are supposed to expect the second coming of the Lloyd. Apparently he is due back today. He said he was back on the 1st of March, that he was going to be the return of the Lloyd. And on one of my old videos, somebody put up a comment last night, somebody called Lisa Burberry. I don't think that's really a name, and very few people on YouTube use their real name for some reason, but Lisa Burberry put, when I was in the so-called truth, there's too many faces around, so judgmental. And then she goes, don't use Lloyd's name on your YouTube. Believe me, nobody listens to your channel. Well, the fact is she's just contradicted herself, because she's listened to my channel and she's made a comment on it. But saying don't use Lloyd's name is very similar to don't use the Lord's name in vain. Oh, so there we go. So anyway, so we can expect any time the return of our Lloyd and Saviour for his second coming. So anyway, that's it. I just thought I'd do that. It wasn't that I wasn't going to do this video, but unfortunately, I had to just, obviously, for those who haven't able to read these things, I thought I'd just do it to explain the real statements of what's going on in relation to the truth about the truth film, and also the speculation and the rather crazy dealings about Lloyd's wife and Kim Silvio and the Twitter account. I must say that I did tweet to her. I did put a response to something that his wife had put on, and I did say, all we need is from you is a video, not taken in the bunker, not scripted by little Lloyd, and just a video of you just saying, this is me, blah blah blah, it's got nothing to do with little Lloyd, and just, you know, just to quash everything, that there was nothing happened in England, that all this Marco thing is not true, and that WhatsApp conversation, a lot of bollocks, and just for her to say that. That's what my advice to her was. Just say it. You know, if her husband's got no problem doing that, why can't she put her side of the story down instead of everybody else saying, this is what she told me, this is the conversation I had with her, you know, blah blah. Instead of Kim Silvio having to say, you know, this is what the conversation we had, why don't we have her to do it? And somehow I don't think that'll happen, because I've got a feeling that little Lloyd won't allow that to happen, so hey ho. But she's welcome to come onto my channel if she wants to reach out. I don't think that'll happen. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the day while the world goes mad around us. You know, I just don't know what's going on, and it is extremely getting more and more frightening, which puts the whole little Lloyd events into perspective, to be honest with you. But anyway, hey hey, we've got to have some sort of something else to try and keep us from going mad. Anyway, see you later. Bye bye. Have a nice day. What a lovely t-shirt. Ooh, Fair Polka Vengeance. Lovely band.